But I was super excited to get on the live tonight. I really wanted to talk to y'all. I've got some questions. Hold on, I gotta turn my light up here. I've got some things I want to talk to y'all about. I got some questions I want to ask you. Hopefully it'll be more you all like talking than me. I want to pick your all's brain. So, hopefully somebody pop on here so I can actually pick their brain. But I've got tonight's video, hopefully, is going to be more about gardening. And so hopefully somebody will pop on here. I know I'm early. I shouldn't have been early, but I'm just excited. And so hopefully hopefully y'all pop on. I'm a little bit hoarse. It's allergy season, guys. My eye is itching right now. Can y'all see it? It's like red. My eye is itching right now and my throat. So, y'all pop on. While we're waiting for everybody to pop on, if you haven't noticed, I started this week doing a gardening series. And the reason why I did that, and I said in the videos, I had a dear friend call me and she said, hey, I've been talking to somebody else and we're talking about, maybe starting a garden, maybe growing our own food for, to try to get out of the processed, chemical-filled food that the grocery store has to offer. And she was asking for pointers and tips and how to start. And she said, do you have like, she said, I'm sure you have like videos on your channel of how to start a garden. And I got to thinking, I don't have any videos of that. And so I'm going to be doing like a series, a course of a series of videos. I guess it's not a course of videos to kind of, hey Eric, to kind of help people learn how to start gardening. Let people kind of let people know, or ones that want to figure out how to really get started on this growing food thing. And I think that this is a wonderful way of doing that. I actually got on YouTube and I typed in gardening for beginners, and there's actually there's not very many videos that popped up when I typed it in. So I'm hoping that this little series that I'm getting ready to start is going to help people to kind of learn to grow food. Eric, I'm so glad you're here. I hope there's a few more people that pop on because I've got some questions I want to ask you all. I've got some things I want to talk about. And I need your all's help. I need my people. I need my people on here so that they can help me and let me know kind of what they're wanting from me. So I guess, I don't know how much you've been here, Eric. I don't know how much you've missed or how much you didn't. But it showed you pop up in the viewing thing right after you commented. And so I don't know how long you've been here. But I was talking about in the beginning about doing my gardening series, and I wanted to kind of pick your all's brain tonight and figure out, why, what you all think is important in the garden series, because I want to make sure that I'm meeting my viewers' needs. I want to make sure that I'm covering things that you all need. I had, if you watched my recent video, I had a friend call me and ask me when she wanted to start a garden, or telling me she wanted to start a garden and she didn't know how. And I got to thinking, and she even said, well, you probably have, like how to start a garden on your channel. And I said, actually, I didn't say it, but then I got to thinking, actually I don't have any videos like that. And so my very first video was talking about the different types or the different styles of gardening, if you all haven't watched it. But I wanted to get on here and kind of pick your all's brain and talk to you all and kind of see what you all want or need from that, or what you all think would be helpful for somebody to start a garden. So since you're the only one that's popped on, and I've been on here for about 5 minutes, it might just be me and you, Eric, tonight, but you're helpful anyway. So I've got this question in my mind, and this is the very first question I wrote down, and it was, what do you wish you knew? What do you wish you knew when you first started a garden? Like in the case of like you had a question and you didn't, like, you just had to figure it out. Like you didn't really know and you just had to kind of like tough it out and figure out, what it was. So what do you wish you knew when you first started gardening? I know what I wish I knew. And I wish I knew how to preserve the things that we were growing. So I learned how to garden and grow my own food long before I met Andy, long before I was in high school. And I helped run a greenhouse through our FFA through our agriculture class. And I ran it 2 years in a row, or I helped run it 2 years in a row. I wasn't the only one running it. And so I knew how to grow food. And then when me and Andy got together, we started growing our own food when Lakin was about a year old. So we had already been married for a year, and we started growing food when Lakin was about a year old. And so what I wish I knew before I started growing food was that how to preserve it, how to put it up. Because we would grow food, we would eat it for the summer, and then it'd be gone. And, we didn't really know how to preserve it. We didn't know how to, freeze it properly. We definitely didn't know how to can it. We didn't know how to put it up. So my question for the 3 people that it's showing on here, what do you wish you knew before you started gardening? And I'll give you all a minute to kind of come up with your answers. I hope that we can get a variety here. And the reason why I'm asking these questions, to reiterate what I was saying in the beginning of the video, is because I want to help you all. I want to help people out there. You wish you knew more about soil. That's a good one. Yeah. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to take your... You wish you knew more about soil. Soil. That's a good one. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm between the fact, and the reason why I'm like this, because when we very first started gardening, we had fantastic soil. Our home, our actual place where we live, this home here, the property here, has fantastic soil. Like, you couldn't get any better soil. The area in which we live used to be a large horse pasture. And we rent the lot. And so the soil is like fantastic. Even in years past when we've tilled, we'd found like old horseshoes and stuff like that. And so the soil got a lot of compost. I'm sure it's got hay broke down, manure broke down, feed broke down. It's a fantastic soil. But our soil on the farm is I don't want to make the noise because it probably wouldn't be appropriate. It stinks. Our soil on the farm is horrible. I've said it over and over again. Y'all are probably getting tired of me talking about it. It's clay soil, and it is rotten. It is rotten soil. If you've ever tried to grow anything in clay soil, you know what I'm talking about. It's so dry in the summer that it like turns to concrete, and it's so wet when it rains that it turns into a mud puddle, and you can't get in it when it rains, and when you get in it when it's dry, you're just cracking the ground. It's miserable. But over the last 3 years, we've worked really hard on the soil, and because we put so much effort and time into working the soil, it's getting better. It's improving quite a bit. So my next question, because Eric said that soil was his biggest issue. So my next question is, what kind of pest or disease do you have in your area that's real bad? So our number one pest, two of our number one pests in our area is moles. So here on my home property, in what I call my kitchen garden, where I actually live, the garden, deer and rabbits. Okay, the garden here, our biggest pest is moles. And I've got a story to tell you, and it's about ridiculous. So we had to plant corn 3 times. And the reason why was because of moles. We would put slugs, okay? We would put it in the ground, and the moles would just eat the corn. So then we got smart. Well, we planted it twice. So then we got smart, and we thought, well, we'll, just put more in the ground, and then we'll just put, some people told us to add hair, some people told us to add cayenne, some people told us to add castor oil, some people told us to add bubble gum, and so we thought, well, we'll just overplant it and then add some cayenne and some castor oil and throw some hair out there, and that's going to get rid of them. No, they ate the corn again. So then third time, we started in seed trays. We put the corn in the ground, and guess what those little boogers did? It sucked the corn. It would pull the corn through the ground, eat the corn, and pull the plant down. So we lost 3 batches of corn. By the 4th time, we had added castor oil and cayenne and hair, and and we planted the corn thick. We planted it so thick that if they took some, we couldn't notice it. And so we have had problems with moles out here, and we've also had problems with June bugs. June bugs get our plants like crazy. Along with, if you grow cabbage in the summertime, those daggone sluggy like things that get on the cabbage. I love animals. I have Fox living with me right now, and my favorite animal is a pig. Cool beans. And so that's our main thing here. Now, out at the farm, our biggest thing is crows getting our corn, or blackbirds getting our corn. We lost, I guess last year, we lost, I don't know how many rows to crows. Just just digging, scratching, and getting the corn. And I'm trying to think of what else. The chickens, the free range chickens. That's that's neat. The free range chickens ate probably 80 of our plants, or of our tomatoes. The fox's name is Bucky. That's cute. Foxes are amazing. They're probably one of my. They're on a very long list of some of my favorite animals. They're absolutely beautiful. Okay, next question, guys. What is the hardest thing for you all to grow? Hey, Joe. How are you? And hey, Randy as well. It looks like there's 6 people on, thank goodness. So guys, my third question is, what is the hardest thing for you to grow? If you weren't here in the beginning of the video, my first question was, what do you wish you knew before you started gardening? My second question is, what is your pest or your diseases that haunt your garden? My third question is, what is the hardest thing for you to grow? Potatoes and tomatoes. Okay. Potatoes and tomatoes. What is your issue with potatoes and tomatoes? Because that's 2 things that are decent. I suck. No, you don't. What's your issue with them? Do you think is it disease? Is it where you're planting them? Is your soil quality? Is it that you don't know how to grow them? Are you starting them from seed, or are you buying transplants? Potatoes, obviously, you're probably starting from seed. So let me ask you this. What is your problem with potatoes? What happens? Do they not grow? Do they not produce? So what is that? What's with the potatoes? And then my second question would be, what do you have problems with the tomatoes? While he's answering my question, our hardest thing to grow, let me think. Our hardest thing to grow is cabbage. And I'm going to tell you all why. Because traditionally in Appalachia, people grow cabbage in the summertime. It grows in the summertime. I didn't realize until over last year that cabbage is not a summer crop. You would think that I knew that because I've been gardening for over 10 years. But no, I didn't know that, because it was just tradition. We grow a garden very traditionally. We're very a big Appalachian tradition gardeners. It's just how we are. It's just how we, know to grow. It's how we've been taught to grow, and so that's how we grow. Potatoes just don't grow. The tomatoes will split before they are ready. You're up north, ain't you? Okay. Your potatoes don't grow. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to make a note of that, because like I said, I want to touch on the things that you all need. Eric, if you haven't, I just put a video. I've got multiple videos on potatoes. So if you haven't checked those videos out, I encourage you to check those out. And if I don't answer a question in the potato videos that you need, ask it. Ask it in the comments. Comment on the video and ask it. That way I can kind of figure out what's going on and kind of where you're struggling there with that. Tomatoes, I would have to probably do more research when it comes to up north, because obviously we're not up north. And so before they are ready. The only thing I can think is if your tomatoes are going before they're ready, then you're not getting them in the ground soon enough. But I don't know your situation. Corn, grow but miss kernels, or just grow a few and turn brown. Only plant maybe 20 down south Texas. Okay, so yours is corn. That's a good one. Corn is hard to grow. In all the years that we have raised corn, in all the years that I've gardened, I still struggle with corn. And I mostly struggle with it now because I'm trying to learn how to grow it in different type of soil. So our corn here, on this property that we're at that has the amazing soil, it's really easy to grow here. This garden is not a challenge. Like, growing food out here is not a challenge. Our biggest problem is our pests, just keeping things out, like moles and stuff. But growing things is not a challenge. And so growing things in heavy clay soil is what is, the challenge for me. And I'm thankful for it because I'm learning different things. So I talked about it on our gardening videos from last year. If you want to check out my playlist, I do have a gardening playlist for the 2023 season. So if you want to check out that playlist and go all the way through that and check different things out. But if you watch that playlist, you realize that we messed up corn last year. And what we did was we planted it too close together. I knew better than to plant it that close, but I did it anyways. And there's a reason why I did it, but I don't really want to say why on here publicly. But there was a reason why I planted it close together. I know that sounds bad, but let me just put it this way. We share our garden at the farm with another family, which is my in-laws. And some things you just got to do, like they're your in-laws. So you just, you got to make peace. And so, we thinned out the corn twice, and it was still too close together. So next year, or this coming year, we're going to do better. So corn is something that, like I said, that is harder to grow for a lot of people. And so I will do my best to try to remember that. I'm taking notes, like I said, and I will do my best, and I will try to do a specific video on corn, or maybe multiple videos on corn, to kind of show you all how we grow it. And I'll grow it, and I'll show a video of how we grow it in pretty rough soil. That way you all can kind of get a grasp of what it is. Now, you're talking about your corn being spotty and not having many kernels on that. A lot of that comes down to it pollinating. So corn has a male and a female, and they need to hit each other. They need to what do you call it? It's not, I guess it's pollinating, but I think there's a different word for it, but I'm not thinking about it. So if you're having problems, and if you've had problems within the last year of your corn being kind of sparse or spotty, try going out there and shaking it. Also, it comes down to, and I was talking to somebody the other day. I was actually talking to my friend that asked me about gardening. Give me just a second. My dog needs to go to the restroom. Come here, Ollie. Come on. No. Come on. Oh. Go on. Go on. All right. Sorry, guys. If you're having problems with your corn kind of being spotty, and the kernel's not coming up, that means that they're probably not hitting each other or pollinating. You know, like your male and female ends are probably not. It's not pollinating. I can't think of the name of it. They're not crossing. And so you can go out there and you can check it. I remember what I was talking about. If you're going to plant one row of corn, be prepared to plant another row of corn. Corn needs a buddy. And so if let's say you run one row of corn and you've got 10, we'll say 10 plants in a row. Be prepared to plant, 20. So for every row that you have, it needs a buddy row. Because if not, you're not gonna, your corn is gonna be, your kernels are gonna be missing. It's gonna be really sparse. You're talking about it turning brown. It's not maturing because it's not being pollinated. I can't think of the word. They're not, males and females are not meeting in the middle. And like I said, another way to help that is to go out there and shake it. That way that once your tassels start coming out of the top, once your things start coming out of the top, your male and female ends start coming out. Go out there and shake it. That way they can cross up, and that should help with your missing kernels. That should help with it also turning brown as well, and help. Some of that comes down to soil quality. A lot of it comes down to soil quality, and corn is a big nutrient suck from the ground. Corn is something that it needs a lot of nutrients. So something I also want to encourage you to do is put a lot of compost, a lot of fertilize where your corn is. You're welcome. Put a lot of compost, a lot of fertilize in the soil when you plant, when you put your seeds down in the ground. And give them some kitchen scraps. Give them some compost. Give them some rabbit manure, composted chicken manure. But rabbit manure is great for that as well, because they are a nutrient suck. They will suck the nutrients right out of the ground, and they need a lot. They need a lot to survive. All right, guys. So we're on question number 4. What's a question that you have about gardening right now? Not one that you didn't know to begin with, but what's something that you have a question about gardening right now that you're just not quite sure about? What's something that you would love to see a video on or would love somebody to talk about? So that's number 4. What's something you would love somebody to talk about? So when we started gardening, we were just a young couple. And like I said, I had a background in, like growing food in a greenhouse. My husband has been raised out of the garden, literally out of the garden his entire life. He was raised more rural, more country, more Appalachian than I was, which is really funny because y'all know me, or a lot of you know me. But he was raised more country than I was. And so his mom and dad always grew a garden. Well, his mama grew a garden. His daddy tilled it. And then she, planted whatever she wanted. She grew whatever she wanted. She preserved whatever she wanted. And she fed her family out of that garden. And so when we first started, when we got married and we were new and, we're a new couple, and the first couple years that we were together, we didn't grow a garden together. But after we had Lakin, we decided that we wanted to grow our own food. And like I said in the beginning of the video, we grow stuff like very Appalachian. We grow very Appalachian food. We grow a garden very Appalachian-like. We're very old-fashioned, very country in the way that we grow food. And so I didn't know. Like I said, my background was growing food in the greenhouse, which is a lot different than growing food in the ground. But I didn't know how much easier it was to grow food. And I didn't know what a wonderful feeling and how much I do love growing food and being out in the garden. Give me just a second. I let the dog out and I gotta let him back in. Go lay down, please. Go lay down. So it doesn't look like anybody has any question there. So my next question is, what is your favorite thing to grow? Hello, how are you? What is your most favorite thing to grow in the garden? So if I had to choose my most favorite thing to grow, my most favorite thing to grow, I don't have a favorite. I was going to say, cabbage is probably very high on the list. I am a fried cabbage girl, and if you have never had cabbage, y'all are missing out. Cabbage is so delicious. So delicious. I could eat fried cabbage as an entire meal. I don't know if it's where I'm Southern. I don't know what it is, but cabbage is an amazing, very flavorful, very tasty thing to grow. So what is your all's favorite thing to grow in the garden? My next favorite thing to grow in the garden would probably be tomatoes. And the reason why is because I love canning tomatoes. It's such a long process, but it's so, at the moment, cucumbers, because we make pickles with them. Yeah, I think it's funny because when I wrote that question down, what's my most favorite thing to grow? I was thinking well, I eat a lot. I eat a lot of food. I'm a food girl, and because of that, I eat. And I love food. I love the taste of food. So you said your most favorite thing is pickles or cucumbers for pickles. Do you like cucumbers fresh? Around here, people eat like a fresh cucumber. I like cucumber in salad. I don't know why, just to slice into a cucumber and eat it, it's not my favorite. They taste okay. And I like fried. Have you ever fried a cucumber? Good. And cilantro. That is something I've never grown. Serrano peppers are so good. I love serrano peppers. Tomatoes for pico de gallo, yeah. Yeah, girl. I know what you're talking about now. I guess you're a girl. Maybe you're not a girl. Sorry. I called you a girl. No. Okay. I'm sorry if I either called you a girl or a boy. I just meant, yeah, buddy. Yeah, boy. Pico de gallo is absolutely delicious. My husband loves pico de gallo, but I see where you go in there with all them ingredients. That is so good. I love peppers, and I love tomatoes. And our most it's very rare for us not to have at least one meal a day with a pepper in it or an onion in it. And in the summertime, it is extremely rare for us not to have a meal with a cucumber or a tomato in it, especially a tomato. We eat them in a salad and we'll cut them up as a side for dinner. Yeah, my husband will just cut them up and eat them for a side. But I mean, they're okay like that. My favorite is like a salad with like some homemade Italian dressing. Yes, I love it. And you got a whole pico de gallo going on there, and I firmly agree with that statement. Along with all of those ingredients, in with a little bit of onion and some salsa. Salsa. Well, like I said, like tomatoes and peppers are my favorite. I love preserving tomatoes and peppers. And hopefully this year we'll be making some more things with peppers. That's my goal, is to have more recipes to preserve with peppers, because my mother-in-law made some things with peppers in it. I made salsa last year that had peppers in it, and the rest of them I just froze. So I froze the jalapenos, I froze the bells, I think that was all we grew last year because I had cayennes already. And so I love me some pico de gallo, and I love me some salsa, but hopefully we can make some more things out of peppers this year. I'll tell you what though, last year I ate the fire out of some jalapeno poppers. And we had a lot, our jalapenos were very prolific, but I would snatch them up and eat them quick as nothing. I love jalapenos, and I love jalapeno poppers. Anything pepper, but if you putting cream cheese and cheese in something, or wrap it in bacon, it's really, really good. My next question, for some future references, are you all interested in like a video talking about Appalachian style gardening? So maybe, I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but maybe like the history of like the Appalachian style gardening, maybe a video of what we grow in an Appalachian garden. I told you all that we're very old fashioned in the way we grow things. We are very Appalachian in the way we grow things. Eric said he'd like it. Okay. We are very Appalachian in the things we grow, the type of foods that we grow. And so I want to show you all, I started this. My channel is Lantern Creek Farm, Appalachian Farm Life. And so I'm very, I love my heritage. I love where I live. I love the Appalachian ways. I love the Appalachian style of things. I love the way that we do things. I love the way we eat. And a lot of cultures are wrapped around that. A lot of cultures grow food in a certain way. They eat food in a certain way. They preserve food in a certain way. They prepare food in a certain way. And so I don't know what route I would go with this. I don't know if I go more, historic. I don't know if I go more with, the food that we eat. So I wanted to ask you all if that would be something that you were interested in. I might do 2 videos on it. I might do, what we grow, and I might do the history on it and the reason why we grow food the way we grow food. So my next question, my last one, number 7, is is what style? Awesome. Okay. I'm gonna write 2 yeses. I wrote yes with an exclamation point because I'm excited about that. My next question is, what style of garden do you use? So if you didn't see our recent video, I did a recent video on like the types of garden, or I guess another way to word it would be the style of garden. Come here. He's needing attention. The style of garden. So what kind of style or what type of garden do you use? Do you use raised beds? Do you do in the ground? Do you do no-till? Do you do forest garden? Do you do what type of gardening do you do? Do you do container gardening? I showed in the recent video that right now we do the straw gardening, we do the in-ground or till gardening, and we do raised beds. Is what we have on the farm now. We have used container gardening in the past. Probably we use container gardening in the future. So what is the type of gardening that you do, and what what do you, well, let me just ask that question. What is the type of gardening the style of gardening that you use? Like I said, the style that we primarily use, which is the in the ground, the till gardening, it is more traditional in this area. It's the more traditional way of growing food. I know that there's a lot of new ways to grow food now. One of them being like the forest gardening. One of them being like the no-till method when you garden. And I'm not going to talk down on one or the other. I'm just going to say that that's what we do. Greenhouse, but after we move, I hope we can do tilled ground gardening. Okay. So, do you know, well, I'm sure you do probably. Have you ever grown in ground? Because I know you said greenhouse. You're up north, and so northern gardening is so different than southern gardening. And even more south of us, it's different than, it's different than what we grow here. Okay. I feel like in ground is like so like taboo now. Like I feel like it's something that like people are not as interested in, and so I want to do things that people are actually. The only reason why we did greenhouses is because ground is too wet here, so we put raised beds in the greenhouse. Awesome. Okay, so you're working around soil then. Yeah. Okay. And that's what I love about, like the raised beds have become really, really popular. It's something that's really, really popular. And I feel like they're kind of like a modern way of gardening, but it makes it a lot easier, and more accessible for a lot of people to do. And so I do appreciate raised bed gardening, and I feel like that it is something that that a lot of people can use and do. And like I said in my video the other day, there are so many different types of videos and so many different. Let me see. All right, a weird comment. Okay. Okay, thank you, YouTube, for handling that. Okay, let's see. I have on the ground small 5x5 raised beds, wooden beds. Yeah, I feel like raised beds are. I feel like raised beds, like I said, are more modern, but I feel like they make it a little bit easier for everybody. I want a garden that requires a farm all. Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yep. 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 Yeah, me too. Well, we do. There is a blue million reasons as to why we got a tractor, but son, that's one of them. That's one of them. It's so much more fun to work in the garden when you have a tractor to work in the garden with. But I like raised beds. Would you all want more videos on raised beds? Is that something that you all would be interested in? And what we grow in raised beds, or why we grow in raised beds? Okay. I'm not like a complete expert on it. I will say that. I'm not an expert on it, but I'm more in ground. But raised beds are, I think, I've talked about it on other videos, but I feel like they make gardening more accessible to people. They make it a lot easier for people, and that's where I was getting at. That's what I was getting at when that weird comment popped up. Straw gardening. So if you watch my video, my father-in-law does straw gardening, and I talk about in that video why he does it. And the main reason why he does it is because it's easier for him. Yes, he would love to be out in, our teal garden, weeding and, taking a hoe out there and planting stuff in the ground and doing all of that. He'd love to do that. But it's just not something that he's physically able to do anymore. And so I feel like raised beds are kind of the same thing with that. And, the same thing with straw gardening. It opens up a world of being more accessible for people. You can make them as tall or as short as you would like. You can add as much soil, or if they're smaller, you can add little. What's the word? Less soil. I was gonna say literaler amount of soil. That's not even a word. Less soil. Then and you don't have to be out there weeding and, weeding as much. It's a lot easier to weed and do things like that. And so I appreciate the raised beds. And hopefully in the future we can have some more raised beds on the farm. And right now we have 2 raised beds that have berries growing in them. One of them is like a beautiful strawberry patch. If you didn't watch that video, those strawberries, I am so excited about it. Have you all bought strawberries from the store lately? They are zero taste. They have got no taste. And they'll be like, they'll be good when you bring them home, and then like next day they're gone. Like they are mushy and nasty and moldy, and like they're nasty. And so strawberries in the garden, oh, I'm so excited about that. That was all the questions I wrote down. What are specific plants or specific, we touched on it a little bit, but what are specific plants that you all would want like a full video on? So if you were to pick out any plant in the garden, what's something that you would want like a full video on, that you would want a whole, like to do of, this is how you do it, this is how you grow it, this is, what you need to do for it. Is there anything specifically? I had wrote potatoes, tomatoes, and corn. We had talked a little bit about the corn, and kind of, and I'll probably do a video on corn, for sure. I'm going to take a note here. I've done videos on potatoes. So Eric, if you go through there, we did straw potatoes. We also did potatoes in the ground. So if you go through there, and you see something that you need me to touch more on, if you watch the videos and you think of a question or something that you really need to, get answered, something that I didn't cover, please ask that question on the video. That way I can do a full video on it for you and for others, because I know if you have a question, other people are going to have a question as well. And I am doing this series, like I said, I'm doing a series of these videos to help you all out. It's not to help me. I've been doing it for a while. Not that I'm not going to learn anything. Every year that I garden, I'm sure I'm going to learn something new. Every year that I garden, I'm sure, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to have mishaps. I'm going to have things go wrong. If you watch last year's potato video, something got in my potatoes and drilled a hole through all of them. They were like Japanese potato bugs or whatever they were called. And we lost quite a few potatoes for, like putting up. We actually ran out of potatoes to put up this year. I had a massive wheelbarrow of potatoes, but a lot of them we couldn't put up because they had holes in them. And so we had to eat those quickly. And, a lot of them weren't able to be preserved. So things happen. Like I said, the corn was a mess up last year. So if you all have any questions, absolutely any questions, anything you want me to cover, like I said, I'm going to be the first one to admit to you, I do not know absolutely everything you'll need to know. I don't. I just have a small amount of experience compared to a lot of people, 10 years of experience compared to a lot of people. When it comes to growing food, I do not know everything. And so I'm not going to claim that I do, but I want to do my best to help you all. And like I said, I'm doing this series to help you all. I'm even going to go a step and tell you all that I'm doing this series. I have a YouTube channel Obviously, I've got a YouTube channel. I've got over 1,000 subscribers. I'm not getting paid. I'm not monetized. I'm not making any money off of you watching my videos. I'm not making any money off the time or the effort that I'm putting into these videos. I'm not making any money off this live. I'm not monetized in any way, shape, or form. So, yes, I've got over 1,000 subscribers. I think last time I checked it was like 1,400 and some subscribers. I'm not getting paid or monetized. So I'm literally doing these videos to help you all out. I'm literally doing this series to help you all out. So, you know, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, because like I said, I'm not going to be making any money off this. People are, you know, I'm probably not going to have any sponsors. Definitely in the beginning, I'm not going to have any sponsors. These videos probably, you know, might not make it anywhere, and I'm not doing these videos to help YouTube. I'm doing these videos to help you all. So if you all have any questions, anything you want me to cover, please let me know, because I will do my best to cover the subjects that you all need. And all this started, I talked about it in the beginning of this live, all this started because I had a friend call me and she said, hey, you know, I'm really wanting to start a garden, and you know, what tips do you have for me? And she was asking these questions, and of course I was answering her questions, and then she said, she said, I'm probably bothering you asking these questions. I probably could get on your YouTube channel and watch it and see, you know, you probably got a gardening for beginners, but I didn't have a gardening for beginner video. And so that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to help her. I'm doing this to help you all. I'm doing this to help people that have no clue how to start a garden. And so, like I said, I'm doing this for YouTube. Not the company of YouTube, but the people on YouTube. The people that are typing in on their Google and on YouTube, gardening for beginners or how to start a garden. I want to reach those people. I want those people to be the ones that watch my videos to get the help that they need. And so if there's something that you are really needing help in, really needing, you know, some guidance in, I'll do my best to help you the best way I can. I'm going to repeat it again, I'm not benefiting anything besides just like feeling good about helping you all from this. I just recently got, like I said, I got on YouTube in the beginning of the video and looked to see how many gardening for beginner videos were out there, and there was just a very few that popped up, and one of them that I clicked on, it was full of like 5 different products he was trying to sell you, and he was advertising for this person and advertising for that person, and doing this and doing that, and that's not what this is going to be. And better yet, I'm not monetized, so you don't even get commercials. So you don't have to stop mid-video of my videos and get a commercial of whatever, because guess what? I'm not monetized. You don't even have to watch the commercial. So I'm not trying to sell you anything, and YouTube's not going to stop for me. So just so you know, somebody had commented here recently, and I said, yeah, I'm not monetized, and they said, I was wondering why you didn't have any commercials in the middle of your videos. It's because YouTube doesn't know I exist. It's because they don't care what I have to say. Guys, it is thundering and lightning outside right now. I just seen lightning out the window, and it's like 40 degrees. It's cold out today, which makes it even more aggravating. We're talking about gardening. I want to get out in the garden so bad, but I can't because it's still cold. And we'll get like 3 days of like 60 degrees, and then we'll drop back down to the 40s. I think last week, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to tell you all wrong, but I think last week maybe it snowed. Or within the last couple weeks. No, not last week. The week before last. Right? The week before last, it dropped down to like 30 some and snowed a couple days. And so we are still in the thick of winter, and it's April. And this has been like have you all experienced how wet it is? Oh gosh, what I would love to have some 80s. I would love to have some 80s. I'm a fall girl, but I'm also a summer girl. I would much rather be our kind of hot. I'm sure you all get very hot down there. But like hundreds is like our max, like with humidity, it's like 110. Um, that's pretty much where like our highest. I would much rather have that 100 than I would have the 20 or 30s. I am not a cold girly. It was 60 last night. That's nice for you, Eric, up north, and we're colder than you are. I I think it was 49 today. I think 49 or 50 was our high today. It's been cold and it's rained all week long. All week long. It has rained. I think we're supposed to get a break in the rain tomorrow and maybe Sunday. And I don't. But have you all had wet weather? For whatever reason, this just the beginning of 2024 has been the wettest. So wet. We've gotten some snow, but it's been mostly rain. It has been so wet here. That's all it does is rain. Yeah, that's all it does. It's all and it makes you mad. Like you don't even want to be outside because it's just raining so much. It's so mucky and so wet. If you watch my recent video, my gardening video, I showed you all in front of the barn. We literally have a creek running running in front of our barn and going down through our chicken yard. It's like so much rain. It's excessive is what it is. And then during the summer, everybody experienced a drought. We went like 3 or 4 months without any rain, and now we're paying for it. And it's been so wet. It's like the fall hit, and it is not, it's almost like it hasn't stopped raining. I mean, I know it has, but it just gives you the feeling that it's never going to end. It's just going to rain forever. And, we're never going to, honey, if I could send it to you, I would. I would. I told my husband we're going to have to start selling mud. I said, do you think they'd buy mud? We're going to have to start selling it. Oh, clay mud. Gonna have to start selling it because that's all we got. That's all we got. And here's the thing: is it's so muddy, and like where you got like high traffic animals like goats and stuff that stomped all the grass out. In certain areas they've stomped all the grass out, and in the wintertime you lose your grass anyways. So they've stomped all the grass out. It's done nothing but rain, hardly. And so the grass can't grow because you're tromping through what's the mud, and you're tromping through what the grass is supposed to come out. It's been something else, guys. It has been something else. It feels like we have not had a break at all. My father-in-law lives in Florida, and every time he talks to us, it's pretty much raining. And I heard him talking to my husband this morning on the phone. He said, every time I talk to y'all, it's raining. He said, he said, y'all have not got a break. And we haven't, guys. We haven't hardly got a break. And if it doesn't rain for a couple days, you better believe, it's gonna rain 4 times more than the few days that it didn't rain, because it's in excess. And I'm just waiting for the drought to come, because if it's raining this much, we're going to have probably a horrible drought through the summer. It's going to be miserable. Yeah. I guess y'all are getting what we're getting. It's thundering and lightning out right now, and I just heard it hitting the roof. It's pouring. I heard it hitting the porch roof out here. It's pouring the rain. It's so much. And that's a lot of it too. Like I was talking about, we'll have like days where it's like 60 and 70 degrees, and then it'll rain, and you can feel the rain, when it's 60 and 70 degrees, and it's so humid because the rain's up in the air, and you can just feel it. And so it's 70 degrees, and then you're sweating like you're wet because it's hot. I don't know about in Texas. Do y'all get like real high humidity? Because here, and I'm sure y'all, I don't know. Do y'all get humidity up north in Pennsylvania? In the south and in the southern region, when it's hot, it's humid. Like 100 degrees it's not the 100 degrees. The 100 degrees is manageable. It's the humidity. And I don't know if y'all have probably heard it when you hear people talking about it down south in this region. It's the humidity. Like, you walk outside and you're like, you've come in and you inside the house, it's air conditioned, you're good and cool. You walk outside and you're wet. You're just covered in sweat and the moisture in the air. It gets so moist in the air and so humid. It gets so humid at times you can't even breathe. The humidity is it's so bad. If it was just 100 degrees, that would be manageable, I feel like. And anybody in the South, like, you'll hear us like, will be like in the shade. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. And going like this, trying to cool down, because that humidity is like, it's miserable. But guess what? Where we were in a drought last year, it wasn't as humid. It wasn't as humid. And today my husband was like, he's like, I would love for a drought to come. I would love for a drought to come. It's gonna take our area a good month of no rain for us to recover from the amount of rain that we've had and the amount of wet that we've had for months. It is so bad. And you can't get into the garden because it's wet. Can't even step in it. Like I was telling you on the beginning of the video, it's that old clay dirt. You can't get in that. And it takes a long time for it to dry. It takes wind and weeks without rain in order for clay soil to dry enough that you can get in the garden. Last year I went to get eggs out of the coop and was dying by the time I got back to the house. Was only outside 10 minutes. Yeah, humidity is, it'll knock you for a loop. And you, like, in the summer when it's humid outside, you gotta take 2 showers a day at least. At least. That's like a morning and an evening shower. But if you're out working in the yard midday, you're going to have to either do a hose off or a shower, or you're going to be stinking. And nobody can be around you. You've done soaked through your clothes. Even if you're not a big sweater. Like, not to get TMI, but some people sweat more than other people. But if you are in the South and the humidity's high, everybody's sweating. Everybody's nasty. Everybody's sweating. Humidity is rough. Well, guys, we've been on just short a few minutes of an hour. I just wanted to get on here and, ask you all these questions. I wanted to pick your all's brain. And I wanted to let you all know that I wanted to, do these videos for you guys. I wanted to ask the questions that you needed answers for. Great chat, and hope you make a video on gardening. Got to put my chickens up. Good night. Good night. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it so much. We're hopping off here anyway, so I appreciate it, guys. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I hope that you all have a wonderful garden this year. And if you have any questions, like I've said before, guys, just let me know. Get on a video, comment, and say, hey, I'd like for you to cover this. Or, hey, I didn't really get what you were saying in this video. Can you, answer this question? I really want to do this for you guys. And so, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you all letting me pick your brain. I appreciate y'all letting me ask the questions. That way I could answer, questions later on. But, guys, thank you all so much. Thank you for hanging out, and I hope that we can see you on the next one. Good night, Randy. Y'all have a good evening. Good night, Eric. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Love hanging out with you guys, and y'all are so supportive. And I hope you all realize how much your support means to me. It really does mean a lot to me that you all get on these videos and want to talk. Like I said, I'm not doing this for anybody but you guys. I'm not doing these videos because, like I said, I'm not getting paid for this stuff. So anyways, guys, I appreciate it so much. Thank you all, and hopefully we can see you on the next one. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.